Roland, action. Cut!
Haven't you heard of suspension of disbelief?
Hi, I'm Richard.
And I'm Robert.
And this is Sequel Bate, a podcast where we each take turns pitching a potential sequel to a pre-existing movie. The movies may or may not be terrible, but that's all right, because after the pitches, we're each going to take turns trying to make the other's sequel pitch a little better by giving some notes.
And the more out of touch they are, the more closer it is to Hollywood, because that's apparently how it works nowadays.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, it's weird out here in California. So this week we are pitching potential sequels to Signs, the 2002 film by everyone's favorite M. Night Shyamalan. Richard, I don't know about you, but actually I'm a little more forgiving of Shyamalan's library of films under his belt.
I saw a movie of his where actual Satan showed up in an elevator and murdered everybody.
That's Devil.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, his movies are certainly a thing, and it can be pretty funny.
One could say they're an acquired taste, I guess. Yes, but some of them you can't deny they're pretty bad. Signs is a fun one though.
I do like Signs.
Yeah, and to be honest, I would probably say it's like the greatest theater going experience I ever had. It was like a packed Friday night. I went there. I was by myself for some reason. Packed Friday night, and like everyone just like hit every cue like to the T. Like it was
cool.
When that alien came out in the videotape sequence, the whole room just shrieked. It was one of the coolest things I've ever been a part of.
Do you want to know what my favorite movie going experience was?
Yes.
Assassin's Creed.
Oh. So anyway, so we were going to begin our pitch. I'm going to go ahead and pitch my sequel to Signs, which is titled The Signs Within.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So my film picks up 3 hours. My film picks up 3 years after the events of Signs. Future goal, I got to pitch a sequel that's 3 hours after.
Yeah.
So 3 years after the events of Signs. We're going to open with a similar shot from the first movie of like a window at morning. Camera pulls back, and then we hear a trumpet playing the revelry. And Meryl, played by Joaquin Phoenix, suddenly sits up at the trumpet's call, kind of like Mel Gibson sits up in the opening of Signs.
Sure.
And in a montage, we see that he is since enlisted in the Air Force, and he's going he's going through training, like showering, eating, walking into a command post, and it's like this darkened room filled with computers and large scanning screens. So Meryl sits at his post and begins scanning the sky above for signals in high-frequency radio waves. Other people are manning radar, sonar, etc. But basically you're seeing that after the invasion 3 years ago, a new division of the Air Force has been created to monitor the skies above in case another invasion happens.
Makes sense.
So we hard cut to another readout screen, and it's like an old radio oscillator. And in the reflection of that oscillator is Morgan Hess, the son of Mel Gibson, and he's now 16 years old. And the camera pulls back to reveal that his room looks like a mad scientist lab. It's half the space is filled with ham radio equipment. He's also scanning the skies for the invaders, like almost to the point of obsession.
Right.
And one particular piece of equipment stands out on the edge of his desk, and it's Bo's old baby monitor from the first film.
Oh,
so he's still got that with him.
Sure.
And speaking of Bo, his sister is now 9 years old, and she's really concerned about his obsessive behavior. And they begin to argue about it, and in walks Mel Gibson as Graham Hess. And he attempts to settle the argument, but Morgan's accusing him of picking sides, blah, blah, blah. So Bo retreats to her room, and she's holding a picture of her mother, and Graham sits next to her, saying, again, I wish you could have known your mother better.
Mm-hmm.
And Bo, looking deep into the photo, just says, there's just something special about her.
Uh-oh.
Now keep this in mind, because this is going to come back later.
Chekhov's photo, yeah.
Yes, exactly. So the next morning, we get a similar montage of Meryl in the Air Force morning routine, only this time the shower, the water suddenly cuts off.
Oh, okay.
And while all the recruits are looking for the source of the problem, Meryl spots the water tower, climbs the ladder where he repairs a pipe and fixes the showers for everyone. Like he returns the water pressure back.
Oh, okay.
Now this doesn't go unnoticed by his superior officer, Lieutenant Penn, who's like remarking on his ability to adapt to bad situations and fix problems. And his radio scanning skills are also very good.
Okay.
Meryl obviously wants something more than what he's doing, so Penn says, all right, keep up the good work. We might have something for you. As he scans his key card and walks into a high security area labeled quarantine.
Uh-oh.
And as the door closes, Meryl senses that there's something about the room that just feels off.
Right.
Something's not sitting right. Now that night, we cut back to the family in the house. Morgan is once again at his ham radio setup and he's scanning the airwaves. And the camera focuses on the old baby monitor and it briefly flips. Now Morgan picks it up and attempts to reacquire the noise when something out of the corner of his eye catches his attention, and it's a figure walking into the cornfield.
Uh-oh.
So alone, Morgan searches the cornfield at night and in a scary sequence runs into something in the dark and screams. Graham wakes up to the sound of this, races into the field looking for his son, and when they find each other, Morgan's there and he's found Bo in the field, and she's walking towards him slowly as if in a trance.
Uh-oh.
And they go over to her, and they look down at her arm, and they notice that there's markings that are forming on the skin of her arm.
Oh, fuck.
Much like the symbols in the cornfield.
Okay.
So Graham obviously calls his brother about this and tells him what happened. Bo is acting unlike herself. She seems to be detached from reality, almost like she's in a dream state.
Yeah.
And Morgan has one last request before Meryl hangs up. He says, I heard a brief signal in the sky in this one area, and Meryl promises to look into it. So what we then get that night is a cross-cut sequence of Meryl and Morgan scanning that particular area of sky. They're toggling switches, turning knobs, adjusting frequencies, and something starts to pick up. It's a faint tone, and the more they narrow down the precise frequency, the louder it gets. And when they find it, it's the exact signal that you hear from the baby monitor in the first film. Meryl begins to record these readings and with like kind of a mix of awe and terror in his face, but Morgan can't move. He's alone in his room, and he's suddenly locked to his desk as the signal grows louder and louder in his ears. And we hard cut to a white light of morning. Morgan's being woken up by Graham, who's absolutely confused what's going on here. Morgan is now also in a daze, and now dark markings are appearing on his forearms.
Uh-oh.
So now we have both kids with markings appearing on their skin.
Yeah, creepy.
So in the Air Force, Meryl is kind of being heralded as a hero for identifying the radio signal. Everyone's on top of it now.
I thought you were going to say for fixing the water pipe for a second.
They can't let it go, man. That shower is very important to them. So,
just a lot of showering going on with Joaquin Phoenix.
So Lieutenant Penn is impressed with his narrowing down the radio signal frequencies, and he's like, okay, now it's time to grant you to the high security area. I think you've earned your way to this. And leads him inside to this room that's labeled quarantine. And inside the room are monitors, gauges, and there's a window looking into a pitch black chamber. And Penn walks over to a light switch by the window and says, guess who? Flips on the switch, and inside is an alien. Quarantined and slowly camouflaging into the wall, and it's very pissed off.
Sure.
Now, if this isn't weird enough, meanwhile, Graham in the house is completely overwhelmed with his really bizarre kids now. They've got markings appearing on their skins. They're acting like zombies. To help him, he's brought over Officer Paskey.
His baseball bat. Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah. Officer Paskey, played by Cherry Jones. But now she's Sheriff Paskey. And she's there to help assess the situation. And she confirms, no other kids in town are behaving like this. Or none of them have markings like this. They both call Meryl, and they're like, okay, this is dire. We're not sure what to do. And Meryl says, well, you're not going to believe this, but we got an alien here. And I think these two happenings are connected. So in desperation, Graham, Sheriff Paskey take the kids and drive out to the Air Force Base. And Paskey distracts the guards. Meryl sneaks his family inside.
Okay.
So inside, they find the alien, and the kids are immediately drawn to it. And that alien starts to speak in that creepy kind of clicking noise.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, the kids also begin to talk back in the same language.
Oh, shit. And then Mel Gibson starts slinging anti-Semitic remarks at him.
And then Mel Gibson gets on the horn and says,
You're a pain in my ass! You should just fucking smile and blow me!
Now translate that for me, children. Anyway, continue.
So as the kids and the alien are clicking back and forth to each other, suddenly the lights go off and red emergency lights just flood the room. And at that very moment, the kids suddenly snap to reality. They have no idea how they got there. And Meryl races to the monitoring station, and on the screen is a radar readout.
Uh-oh.
And there's some serious activity right above the base.
Okay.
Something has landed.
Oh, shit.
And suddenly shots ring out from across the base. Meryl looks through a pair of binoculars and sees that the military police are being taken out one by unseen entities.
Uh-oh.
Oh shit, the aliens are on the base and they're coming towards the quarantine room.
Okay.
So gradually there are less and less shots, typically followed by a scream that is suddenly silenced.
Okay.
And Meryl and Graham gather the kids and suddenly are caught between the quarantine room and the inbound group of aliens. The creatures decloak their skin and there is a standoff. The lead creature slowly approaches Meryl, and Meryl shows them the door, leading to quarantine. The creature looks towards the door, then looks down at Bo, and starts walking slowly towards her. And as she puts up her hands defensively, this is where we get our Shyamalan plot twist.
Oh, okay.
Her hands also start to camouflage to the walls behind her.
Oh, shit.
It's very rough, but her skin is definitely changing color.
Okay.
Morgan looks down at his own skin, and it's also changing color. Basically, they are part alien crossbreeds.
What?
Yeah. And then out of nowhere, kaboom! A shot rings out and an alien is capped right in the head. Sheriff Paskey has taken cover and she's gunning down these aliens. Graham also takes cover with Bo while Meryl hides with Morgan. And Sheriff Paskey has to take cover now to reload as two aliens are approaching her direction. Meryl, meanwhile, observes the situation and sees an opportunity. He leaves Morgan behind a crate as Morgan attempts to camouflage the crate texture. And Sheriff Paskey is about to be gassed by two aliens when Meryl just friggin' smashes him with a nearby piece of equipment and keeps moving forward towards his goal.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Graham sees the remaining aliens searching for Morgan. His skin hasn't really quite yet fully blended. And now Graham knows he has only one shot at this now, and he slowly stands up. Bo's crying for him not to go. He stands up and says, "Hey!"
Blow me!
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
And all the aliens turn their attention to him and slowly start to approach. Graham closes his eyes. He's ready to be poisoned when suddenly there's a low rumble. The aliens look around confused, and Graham looks up above him. And Meryl has climbed to the faulty water tower and is creating more pressure in the pipes. And then, boom! The water tower explodes, sending a torrential flood all over the aliens, dissolving them in a pool of fresh water. And in the aftermath, with rain kind of sprinkling from this water tower, the family reunites and they notice the markings are starting to disappear from the kid's skin. The alien markings.
Sure.
And then Bo realizes what's going on. She looks up at her dad and says, "Mom, she was something special."
Oh, yeah, I thought that might be where you were going.
And this is why M. Night Shyamalan killed the wife, because she was jogging cloaked. Because she's part alien. That's why he didn't see her. He didn't really fall asleep on the road that badly. He couldn't see her because she was invisible.
Right. That's funny. I like how Joaquin Phoenix blew the water tower open and he didn't think that maybe the kids were enough of an alien to be dissolved as well.
True, but they're half-breeds, so water doesn't really affect them. They have all the camouflaging, but they don't have any of the water phobia.
Sure.
So yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
So that's
pretty good.
So that's my that is the signs within.
It couldn't be worse than Devil. My sequel takes place 16 years after the first one. The first one came out in 2002, so this one's set in 2018. So not the kids.
So further than mine, but not as far as your Gravity pitch.
No, it's not 100 years in the future. No, but the kids. So everybody can still play. All the actors are still the same.
Yeah, that's smart.
So Act 1 follows. Actually, the whole movie pretty much follows Bo as the main character, played by Abigail Breslin. In the time since the events of the first movie, she has become a sort of investigative journalist. And the reason why is because the alien invasion was actually super small and only affected a couple people, essentially, a couple areas. So a lot of people now kind of are treating it, in the media and everything, are treating it as like a hoax almost. Not that it didn't happen, but that it was like a fake thing.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, do you remember in the 20s and 30s the War of the Worlds scare?
You're talking about the Orson Welles
Welles, reading War of the Worlds, and some people thought it was a real alien invasion because, people are stupid.
Plot twist, they still are. Take that, Shyamalan.
But that's kind of what happened in this situation, where people thought it was just this super elaborate prank. These fake videos came out and everything, because nothing really came of it, and it was just a couple of incidents.
Wow.
The Hesses from the first movie being one of the half dozen or so instances of this happening. Most of the rest of the family, Joaquin Phoenix and Rory Culkin, have kind of moved on and don't really care too much. But Bo is really bothered because the incident affected her pretty deeply, and is trying to convince people that it actually happened. And so she's gone into this investigative journalism, and she's trying to interview all these people that witnessed these aliens firsthand. Most people don't really take her too seriously. She's pretty young, and so people just kind of think that she's crazy. Rory Culkin has gotten married and has 2 small kids of his own. Wow. In the opening of the movie, we find out that Mel Gibson's actually dead. He just recently died.
He died of anti-Semitism?
No, he died of, I don't know, just being ancient.
How dare you!
And so all of them are planning this weekend trip out to the farm from the first movie. Mostly because none of them really want to keep it, and so they have to sort of divide up assets and deal with the furniture and that sort of thing.
Is Hawkeye living there as a sublet?
Yeah. Right, yeah. So anyway, they get out to the farm for this weekend trip, and this is where we start to see, kind of are caught up on the events of what has happened since the incident. Because on the walls and everything, especially in Bo's room, ton of newspaper clippings and stuff. One of them mentions, alien invasion a hoax kind of thing.
Oh, nice.
And then you see another clipping next to it, and this is just kind of a little wink wink thing that says aliens actually demons ?
Oh, okay, I've heard this fan theory. It's fascinating. Yeah.
And so for anybody that doesn't know, it's just real quick, it's a fan theory that the aliens weren't actually aliens, but actually demons, and the reason why water hurt them was because it was holy water, and it burned them. Anyway, so a lot more religious themes in that theory.
Yeah, you can read it. It's on Reddit. It's insane. I highly recommend going to look that up. It's awesome.
Anyway, it's just kind of a little nod to that on the newspaper clipping.
I love it.
On the wall. They're sort of catching up. They're talking back and forth. A little bit of exposition about what happened. Like, Bo, you really need to give this stuff a rest. You're going to drive yourself crazy, blah, blah, blah. And in the background, and this is, again, another little nod to the first movie, we can see the kids, Rory Culkin or Morgan Hess's kids and his wife's kids while they're talking, running around kind of the cornfield area, playing with super soakers. And we find out again, through a comment, that after the alien invasion, the kids kind of went crazy and started hoarding all these super soakers in case the aliens ever came back, and so it's a fun little nod to that.
That would be the greatest super soaker war of all time.
So later that night, sort of their first night there, they're all kind of sitting inside, and they hear a bang outside.
Oh shit!
Like a loud crash out in the cornfield. So the 3 sort of main characters, Rory Culkin, Abigail Breslin, and Joaquin Phoenix, go out to investigate. Much like in your pitch, there is a very tense sort of wandering through this dark cornfield, not really looking to find anything. And it's funny that you mentioned the super soaker, because Bo stumbles across one of the super soakers that the kids left out there, looks around and picks it up and kind of puts it in her bag just in case.
Oh yeah, why not?
Yeah. And they're walking around. There's a jump scare with a small animal, and so they think that it was just... Anyway, they head back inside. Problem is, they can't find the wife and the 2 kids.
Oh, shit.
Rory Culkin says, well, maybe they just went out back, and he's gone for a few seconds. Joaquin Phoenix and Abigail, I keep calling them by their actors' names. Meryl Hess and Bo exchange a look like, you don't think. And no sooner than that, there's a crash on the roof.
Oh shit.
And then you hear another crash. This one was inside the house, upstairs.
Oh god.
Meryl goes to the wall where you see the same baseball bat on display from the first movie, and he grabs it off the wall.
Hell
and
yes.
gets ready. Then you hear big thumping footsteps start walking through the hallway, and start coming down the stairs. It is in fact an alien.
Oh no.
Decked out head to toe in scuba gear.
Oh shit. In scuba gear.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It's waterproof.
Meryl immediately, sets on this creature with the baseball bat. He charges it. The creature quick draws a pistol and just takes him out. One shot.
Whoa, what?
It doesn't appear like there's any damage, but he still drops just the same. Like he falls and incapacitated, drops the bat. Whoa. And then as it looks over towards Bo, she freaks out. And as soon as she breaks through the back door and sprints outside, is immediately blasted by 40 spotlights just on her, like it's a football stadium or something. And she's blinded and squints, and you see she's looking up at this giant alien ship hovering about 200 feet off the ground or so. And as she's sitting there staring up at the ship, just awestruck, you see the alien that was inside walk up behind her, pistol into her back, and just pulls the trigger, and she drops.
Whoa!
And right as she drops, the screen cuts to black.
Oh, shit.
A few seconds of black, and she wakes up, very bleary-eyed and groggily. And as she sort of comes to, you see she's in a very white room. She's in a hospital room.
Oh.
She looks to her left, out of a window, and you can see, a city. She seems to be on, the third or fourth floor of a hospital or something. And the door opens to the room, and a doctor walks in and says, "Oh, good, you're awake. You and your family got very lucky. It appears to be some kind of gas leak in the area, and you were lucky that you were all found when you were," whatever medical speak he would say, because, but he says that, and she's like, "Well, but wait a minute, what about, the aliens or whatever?" And she starts kind of babbling about aliens, and he's like, oxygen deprivation can cause you to hallucinate. This is kind of more poignant to her because earlier in the movie, when she's sort of being called out for being crazy, that's kind of a thing that people go to, is hallucinating.
Yeah, of course.
And she said, "Well, what about my family?" And she said, "Don't worry, everybody's fine. You can go and see them in a few minutes. I'm just going to go get the nurse, and we'll check you out real quick." He leaves the room. She kind of staring out the window, sort of having a moment of self-reflection, like, what the hell just happened? Man. And she could see, her stuff sitting there, her bag and everything is sitting on a chair, when the door opens again, and in walks the doctor again, and he says, "Oh, good, you're awake.
Whoa.
You and your family got very lucky. A gas leak killed everybody," and repeats the exact same thing that he just said.
So she woke up on Groundhog Day, is what you're saying.
The doctor's Bill Murray, yeah. And as the doctor leaves the room a second time, she goes to follow him, and as soon as she grabs the door handle and goes to push the door open, the door shimmers, and the illusion fades.
Oh,
and
shit.
She's in a much more metallic, alien-looking room.
So she's on the holodeck.
Yeah, or in some type of alien holding cell, it seems.
Oh, wow.
And as she turns her head to look back out the window, she's looking at a planet.
Oh,
and it's not,
shit.
And it's not Earth.
Whoa, what the?
It's a planet that we've never seen before out of a window in space.
Oh, that's even worse.
And she has a moment of panic attack, and she's like, "What the hell is happening?" But then she remembers something, and she goes to her bag and she pulls out the water gun.
Yes.
And eventually an alien guard comes by, and she fucking blasts it with the super soaker, and it dies.
Oh, yeah.
And basically the rest of Act 3 involves her going through this alien ship, freeing the rest of her family. They stumble across this equipment room that has a bunch of these weird looking weapons in it, but among all of them are a whole bunch of their super soakers that the aliens picked up presumably to study Earth's weapon technology. And so they all arm themselves with a super soaker, and then the family goes around fucking wasting aliens through the ship in this ridiculous action sequence. It ends when they reach the bridge, and they go into the bridge, and it's almost more of a throne room looking deal. And sitting on top of the throne as it turns around is this giant red-skinned creature with horns. Oh my god, it's actually demons. M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh,
it's actually Satan.
Hold on. So, okay, let me get this straight. So, the plot twist is the aliens are demons.
Yes.
And the ship is being helmed by Satan himself.
That is correct. All of those things you said are true.
Amazing.
And then they kill Satan with super soakers.
No, they should throw him down an elevator shaft because of the movie Devil.
Oh, God, yeah. No, before they kill him, he escapes, and he goes into the body of an old woman who murders people in an elevator. Anyway, he gets killed by super soakers, and the movie ends kind of like the end of Prometheus, where it has them on the bridge. They have control of this alien ship that they know how to fly because reasons. And they're like, well, where do we go? I guess back to Earth if we can find it. And then it kind of ends with them having thoroughly jumped the shark. And the name of the movie isn't very good. I was going to call it Signs Inferno, but that might give away the demon ending.
Yeah, that would definitely give away
Signs Paradise Lost.
Oh, hey. I like Signs Paradise Lost. That's pretty solid.
My twist is still not as dumb as Satan in the Elevator. All right, we can't keep talking about Devil.
We're just going to have to do a sequel to Devil at some point then.
No, I just did.
And that is the real plot twist, is that
it's actually a sequel for Devil, yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
You want to make each other's ideas better / worse with some producer notes?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I noticed in your pitch that at no point did M. Night Shyamalan have a cameo.
It's true.
So you have to put M. Night Shyamalan in the movie, and it can't just be a quick cameo. You have to adapt the plot to where now he has a solid 20 minutes of screen time.
Okay, I got it. Okay. So Graham, one of the activities he does with Morgan is he's trying to get him out of his room from just obsessing over listening to signals all day. And he's like,
right.
I tell you what, Bo and Morgan, I'm going to teach you how to hunt quail because we live on a farm and you should know how to shoot a goddamn bird.
Okay.
And they're out in the woods, and who's out there hiking? But it's Ray Reddy, the town veterinarian, played by M. Night Shyamalan. And of course, being the veterinarian, he's like, just give me more reasons for us not to see eye to eye, now eventually Sheriff Paskey and M. Night Shyamalan are going to try to help him out, and he also goes to the base with them. So while Meryl's running for the water tower to go release the river, Paskey is taking cover because she has to reload and she's out of ammo. The two aliens approach, and then out of nowhere, and there's Ray Reddy holding a giant Gatling gun and blowing away these aliens.
Oh, God.
Having learned to
hunt quail.
Yeah, having learned to hunt quail, basically. But it's aliens. And, of course, the gun jams, and he doesn't know how to unjam it. An unharmed alien approaches him.
Oh, no.
Gasses the fuck out of M. Night Shyamalan and walks away, winking at the camera.
So, you have this big action sequence set on an Air Force base at the end of your movie.
Yeah.
We've recently just received a bunch of funding from the Air Force to help put us in a much higher budget bracket for filming this movie. The problem is we can't have the Air Force lose during this fight, and the Air Force has to be shown as being competent and winning the fight, and you have to make it overly patriotic, we'll say, almost like Michael Bay levels.
So, I got you. So we're Michael Baying this up. All the airmen that Meryl's working with, who will develop in the opening acts, are definitely terrified because only a few of them have come across these aliens firsthand. Others were hiding.
Sure.
Meryl has to find a way to work as a team to get up to that water tower. And he's struggling. He's got to pull this one lever. It's just not working. And the runt of a cadet has an idea, grabs an American flag pole, running up that water tower, jams the flag into the pipe and pulls with Meryl, and then as they are using this American flag to unjam this water tower pipe, you have a bunch of soldiers grabbing it, and what we get is an Iwo Jima style shot as everybody pulls this lever to release the water tower.
Yeah, I'm sure the Marines would love that. The Air Force having that moment.
Okay, so by the time this film's coming out, the Olympics will be approaching, and with the Olympics comes a lot of sponsorships. And the U.S. Gymnastics League has a sponsorship deal with Touchstone, who's produced Signs, and they're also producing Signs Paradise Lost.
Yeah, okay.
So, in order to help sponsor the U.S. gymnastics team, one of your characters, like in The Lost World, has to use their gymnastics skills to take out some fucking aliens.
Oh, God. All right, this is easy. M. Night God, not M. Night Shyamalan.
M. Night's in this one, too?
No. Okay. Morgan's wife is one of the women on the U.S. gymnastics team.
Oh, wow.
And so at the point when they're running through the ship, acing aliens left and right, there is a moment where their kids are in danger of being gassed. One of the aliens picks one of the little fuckers up by the scruff of his neck and is like, I'm about to gas the shit out of you, you little bitch. And then, because most terrible sequels need some type of reference that the audience will go, I understood that reference. The wife, I don't know any of the gymnastics members. Whoever's playing that character says, "Get away from her, you bitch!" And then does like a
you cheeky bastard.
And then does like a gymnastics flip. I guess they do flips, right? And hits them with a gymnastics foot. Anyway, and kicks the alien out an airlock. So, a little action moment, yeah.
Okay, so your Shyamalan plot twist is kind of confirming the fan theory that these aliens are actually demons.
Yes.
So, ergo, where do the angels come in? You got to work angels into your movie.
Oh, shit.
Hollywood needs its angels. We have a CGI budget. This can be a huge battle sequence if you'd like.
So despite the fact, because again, in the third act, we can't have them just cleaning house with squirt guns for all of the third act because that's boring. We'll say they get overwhelmed and taken captive again, but then they're taken directly to Satan, and that's the reveal. Because we can't show the angels until we've revealed that they are actually demons, or that would be a spoiler.
Oh, absolutely.
So Satan, we meet him, and he's like,
now you will die.
I guess he'll monologue at them. He's played by James Woods. So see, he monologues at them and says,
humans are weak and whatever.
And then, and
you will all die because no one's here to help you.
And then you hear a voice, a woman say, "Not today, Lucifer." And then they fly in, and they have they look like angels, and as far as like they're white and sort of glowing, and they have wings, but they're all very tech looking, and they look like almost out of like Guardians of the Galaxy, but
yeah,
they do have like this aura about them, and they're flying around and they're taking out demons like left and right, and a couple are like grappling with Satan, and then right as some of the demons are about to attack the family and take him out, the Hess family, and the demon gets vaporized like midair, about to pounce on them, and then who flies over but their mom and dad.
Oh God!
Mel Gibson and the wife, Patricia Kalenber.
Is that who plays her?
Yeah, I'm just looking at IMDb right here.
Nice.
I didn't just know that. But yeah, so their parents fly over, and so they have this like tender moment, and they're like, "We can't stay very long, but do it now, take the shot." And they're like struggling, holding Satan back, and they get the water guns, and the family just blasts Satan, and they all kill Satan together, and it's great.
Like when the Power Rangers put their weapons together and just run giant blast.
Yeah, and then as he sort of disintegrates, he says,
"I'll be back."
Anyway, so then they have this ship, and the parents are like, bye.
All that for just, okay, bye.
Well, they can't stick around because they're angels, and they're like, heaven doesn't really work like you think. And it's like, they just fly around and killing demons, and Mel Gibson screams at some people every once in a while.
Pain in the ass. Fuck you.
That's what he says to Satan right before he tackles him.
How fucking dare you? How dare you act like such a bitch?
I think we're done.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay, well, thanks for listening.
Especially to M. Night Shyamalan, who's totally listening right now.
Oh, yeah, him too. Thanks for Devil, you piece of shit. So until we get some people to vote on what sequels we want to see next, we're just going to go ahead and pick which one we're doing, which next week will be
Shawshank Redemption.
Yes.
We will be creating a sequel to follow that. Be sure to tweet at us at SequelBate. That is BATE.
Because our maturity level is through the roof, clearly. We'll also have some polls on the Twitter feed, so you can vote which sequel reigns supreme. And also rate and review us on iTunes. It only takes about 30 seconds, and it helps us get noticed.
Yes, please do.
All right, so until next time, thanks for listening.
And be sure to go see Devil.
Yes.
This is the most unprofessional set I have ever been on!